Two Solon men are considered heroes tonight after helping police arrest 5 suspects at the end of a high-speed chase last night.
Scott Eastwood and Tim Moore got involved after the truck driven by men accused of shooting a gun in Cedar Rapids crashed into Moore's backyard, destroying his children's playset. Fox 28 News reporter Kevin Barry explains the complicated split-second decision those friends made to take action. Kevin?
Yeah, Scott and Tiffany, for Tim and Scott, there was almost no time to think. Right after a speeding pickup passed them by, they saw the suspects running from it, and so Tim and Scott took off right behind them. But don't confuse their quick decision with an easy one. Tim Moore and Scott Eastwood met up just a few minutes before a speeding truck with 5 suspects inside crashed into Tim's garden.
It went from, hi, how you doing, how was your day, to get them.
Scott and Tim eventually found the suspects just down the road. Tim tricked them into getting into Scott's truck, asking for help looking for the suspects that Tim knew he was already talking to.
As soon as they got in the truck, Scott pulled his gun out. He has a permit to carry, and we backed out in front of the next officer.
Well, I told him that I had my concealed weapon on me, and he told me to come back and watch these guys with him until backup came.
Judge STARN is a firearms instructor. He says the decision the pair made to get involved in the first place is a huge one, taking on a lot of personal risk and liability. Judge says when Scott pulled his gun, it makes an already crazy situation even more complicated.
When law enforcement responds, they don't realize that you may be a perfect grade upstanding citizen. You're adding another variable and another complication.
Still, Judge says it's nearly impossible to judge after the fact.
A citizen stepped up, protected his family, helped local law enforcement, and acted as he felt was appropriate to the situation. What more could you ask out of somebody than that?
It wasn't the night that Scott and Tim were expecting.
You know, I've never ever thought that I'd ever have to use my weapon ever.
But it was the night they got, and Judge says that's all that matters.
You can't second guess a gentleman for stepping up and taking care of his family or helping law enforcement.
Judge says that once the sheriff's deputy asked Scott for assistance in watching over the suspects, Scott was protected as long as he acted under the deputy's direction. He says it's still an incredibly dangerous situation that did turn out well for Scott, Tim, law enforcement, and really the rest of the community. Kevin Barry, Fox 28 News.